Welcome back to Stoic Mindset. In today's video, we're diving into one of life's quietest but deepest truths. What really happens when a woman knows she's lost you, when she realizes you've finally detached, when your energy no longer seeks her, when your silence becomes your language, everything changes. Let's begin. It doesn't happen suddenly. There's no announcement, no argument, no closure. One day, a man simply stops chasing. He stops explaining. He stops trying to make her understand. He's been ignored too many times, misunderstood too often, and disrespected in ways words can't describe. At first, his silence confuses her, then it bothers her, and finally, it terrifies her, because that's the moment she realizes the man who once begged for her attention is now unbothered by her absence. And that shift from emotional dependence to quiet strength is something she can't control. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." When you stop reacting, you stop being controlled. When you rise in silence, you become untouchable. When a woman knows she's lost you, she begins to feel your absence like gravity. At first, she pretends she doesn't care. She posts happy pictures, talk louder in conversations, and convince herself she's fine. But behind that mask, she feels the emptiness. The silence that once annoyed her now echoes in her own mind, because your presence was never about noise, it was about energy. You gave her certainty, validation, and emotional warmth. Now, that warmth is gone, replaced by the cold realization that you've outgrown her. And nothing hurts a woman more than seeing a man evolve without her. A woman's ego thrives on being desired. When you used to reach out, chase, and explain, you fed that ego. But once you go silent, her confidence begins to crack. She starts to ask herself questions she never imagined. Why isn't he trying anymore? Who is he talking to? Was I the problem? This is where power shifts, because your silence forces her to face herself, something she avoided when you were doing all the emotional work. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." And there's no greater freedom than walking away from someone who thought you'd never have the strength to leave. When she realizes she's lost you, she'll try to pull you back, not out of love, but out of the need to feel in control again. She might text you something meaningless. She might accidentally like your old post. Or she might start stories designed to catch your attention. But here's the truth. These are not signs of love, they're tests. She wants to see if you still care. If you respond, she wins. If you stay calm and indifferent, she begins to lose herself in confusion. That's the essence of Stoicism, to act, not react, to master yourself instead of chasing temporary emotion. When you detach, her memory becomes her punishment. She'll remember your calm voice, your loyalty, the way you once looked at her like she was everything. But now, she's just one more memory in your story, and that hurts her pride more than anything else, because women don't miss the man. They miss the feeling they had when the man was around. They miss being understood, admired, and safe. And when you withdraw those gifts, you remind her that peace was never her doing, it was yours. Once you're gone, she may try to replace you. She talk to new people, seek validation from strangers, or surround herself with attention. But here's what she doesn't realize. None of them carry your silence, your calm, your strength. You taught her what stability felt like. And once a woman experiences that kind of masculine stillness, everything after feels like noise. Your absence becomes the standard by which she measures every man that follows. When you were in her life, she had peace without knowing it. Your presence grounded her emotions. Your consistency made her feel safe. Now, every message she sends feels like shouting into a void. Every silence from you feels like judgment. She may smile in pictures, but her peace is gone, because true peace doesn't come from control. It comes from connection. And once that connection breaks, no amount of distraction can restore it. Point 7. You become the ghost in her mind. When a woman knows she's lost you, you don't disappear, you haunt her. Not in a dark way, but in quiet reminders that appear when she least expects them. A song, a place, a random line you once said. That's the power of presence. You left an emotional fingerprint that time can't erase. Because when you were there, you were real. You weren't pretending. You weren't performing. And now, that authenticity becomes the ghost she can't exorcise. She might reach out again, not to reconnect, but to understand why you stopped caring. She say things like, "I just want to talk," or "I just need clarity." But what she's really seeking is validation that she still matters to you. You owe her nothing but silence. Your peace is the only closure she needs. As Epictetus said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. And her imagination now suffers with the thought of who you've become since walking away. Eventually, she'll start pretending she doesn't care either. She posts quotes about self-love, act like she's moved on, and play the game you've already stopped playing. But that's the difference between performance and growth. You evolved, she's acting. You found peace, she's proving something. A Stoic man doesn't play emotional chess. He simply walks away from the board, because peace is the loudest statement you can ever make. There comes a moment when she looks at you, maybe from a distance, and realizes you're not the same. You're calmer. You speak less. You move with intention. She used to know how to trigger you. Now, nothing gets a reaction. That realization stings, because the man who once made her feel powerful now exists beyond her emotional reach. He didn't change for someone else. You changed for yourself. And that's when she understands what she truly lost. Not a boyfriend, but a man of value. When she can no longer replace you, she'll circle back. She'll say things like, "I miss how we used to talk," or "You've changed." But this return isn't about love. It's about restoring her comfort. She wants to know that she still has influence. That's when your discipline is tested, because the old you Mitov welcomed her back, but the new you has learned the sacred art of peace. Remember, not everything lost deserves to be found again. Eventually, her emotions settle, and something shifts within her. Respect. She begins to see your silence not as punishment, but as strength. Your restraint becomes admirable. Your detachment becomes magnetic. That's the paradox of emotional discipline. The more you stop chasing, the more respect you gain. You didn't have to prove your worth. You simply showed it by walking away. Sometimes, losing you becomes the lesson she needed. She starts to grow, reflect, and mature. Your absence becomes her mirror. She realizes how her ego, pride, or immaturity cost her something rare, and though she might never admit it, she knows that your silence changed her. You didn't teach her with anger, you taught her with distance. You didn't punish her, you elevated yourself. And that's the purest form of influence. As time passes, she tried to reconnect, but you've moved beyond the version of yourself she once knew. You're not bitter, you're not broken, you're simply done. She realized that what once felt permanent was just temporary comfort. And now, you live in a state of calm detachment, where your peace is worth more than any apology. The man she lost has become the man she can no longer touch. Not because he hates her, but because he's healed. When a woman knows she's lost you, everything changes. For her, it's regret. For you, it's rebirth. You stop needing to be understood. You stop begging for loyalty. You stop explaining your worth. Instead, you move with quiet power. You focus on your mission, your peace, your growth. That's when life rewards you, because detachment is not loss, it's liberation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. When she knows she's lost you, you finally find yourself. If you've ever been through this, understand that your silence was not weakness, it was wisdom. She needed to lose you to see your value, and you needed to lose her to see your strength. So, walk in peace, because when a woman knows she's lost you, everything changes. Thank you for watching Stoic Mindset. Stay calm, stay grounded, and let your silence speak louder than words.